Okay, but how do we make money and survive when we're trying to come out with all
with the question?
Indeed,
This is the gold question.
This is the gold
we
question.
need the abundance while we're trying to do our passion.
Indeed, yes. And we understand. And this can be really a challenging thing to not become attached that the passion is the pathway to abundance.
Oof.
Now, see, immediately
Right.
you're hearing that and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I can do my passion, but to make the abundance, I have to do this horrible thing that I don't like so I can support this. And that is not what we're saying at all.
Okay.
But what we are saying is if you are focused that way, now you're kind of mixing your energy streams. You are innately abundance. That is your true nature. That's your natural state. It's who you are as consciousness. The more you are in your now moment, the more your gateway is open, which is why wonderful creative activities are really actually magnificent to open the gateway to abundance. And that is why you see some artists are extremely successful in their abundance because they are living in their now moment open gateway. And once you hit a flipping point and you're doing that, it sort of exponentially grows because once you're making your creativity and the money's flowing and you're not really worried about either, and it's happening.
Welcome to Spread Your Third Eye podcast. I am your host, Mia Wrights, and we have our beautiful guest, Georgia Jean.
I'm always here.
Coming in with the Circle of Light.
Coming in hot,
And another most beautiful guest, Zenya.
Thank you.
Tell us.
To myself.
The crowds in my
You're
mind.
obsessed with me.
They're obsessed with me.
They're obsessed with it. We probably should give some context.
Yeah,
to that.
we'll get there. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here to interview the Circle of
Oh my
Light.
gosh, the circle. Yes.
First of all, can I give her some?
Yes.
Yeah, you go
I'll
ahead.
give her credit.
Do it.
Yes.
I'll introduce the beautiful Miss Zenya. She's a dear friend of mine, a fellow Australian.
G'day, mate.
Fellow Australian who also left Australia in the hopes and dreams of being a success in showbiz. And she ended up damn well doing that. And she has toured with big names like Justin Timberlake, Shaggy, Jay-Z, all the people, been all over, you've just performed with crazy people. Like, were you with Stevie Wonder the other day? I don't know.
I did perform with Stevie Wonder.
You did perform with
actually.
Stevie. And
Chris Stapleton.
what about the, because I used to be an old 60s girl, Diana Ross's crew, didn't she perform with them? No, not them. It was
Pointer Sisters.
The Pointer Sisters.
Yeah.
Oh
my
there's some people
gosh,
out there
yes.
who'll know who the Pointer
Incredible
Sisters are.
women,
Like OG,
yes.
like kind of disco. They were disco,
Yeah.
weren't they? The Pointer Sisters.
I mean,
disco funk, yeah.
I'm a small town girl
Yes.
that I feel like it's kind of like the story of The Alchemist, where I had this dream of going somewhere and finding this thing on this journey, and then my gems were in the journey. So
Always in the
definitely
journey.
in the journey.
Oh, and I have to throw in a little plug as well because she is the co-creator of our
Oh, yeah.
Fan.
Frequency activation now.
It's a boot camp for people who are entertainers and creators, people in the music industry, but also people who want to learn how to work with activating frequencies to reach a much bigger audience. So I've worked with some people who've with the Circle, who helped them to get out there with some bigger audiences. And Miss Z has obviously performed with some great big audiences. So we came together and made that boot camp and using these principles. It's super fun.
And that boot camp actually helped me after we did it.
Yeah.
It helped me break more out of the background singer into the actual artist
Artist
that I
that you are.
planned to
That's
be when I
right.
came here.
Yes.
But you know, the journey
The journey.
takes you on some twists and turns.
She's a
Before we bring
fabulous
this circle in, I have to
Yeah.
ask, what is it like being on stage in front of like so many people with all that energy?
It's next level experience. I would say, honestly, though, I think when anybody does what they love at the highest capacity, I feel like that's the same feeling, right? I feel like it would be the same feeling, but having everybody's energy that actually bought tickets to come and see you or that person specifically, they're coming in with love. They're not coming in to boo. They're coming in with
Right,
love.
right,
So
right.
there is so much intentional,
Unified feel.
yes. And with that, you feel pretty limitless.
Yeah, that's
It's
amazing.
it's an incredible feeling. So after the tour, I ended up realizing how much you can sink into like a depression after that, because you're so used to getting this adrenaline rush that it's all of a sudden it's just gone. So one thing I learned about that is like finding that feeling and maintaining that feeling so I can keep it for myself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just
And
locking it
within.
in as a core,
Yes.
core vibration.
Core vibrazione.
How's it going with that? Just curious.
It's a journey. It's every day I need to remind myself. Actually, I guess this is where we'll go into my conversation about scripting. So I've done 22 days of scripting now. If you don't know what scripting is, it is a practice of journaling something before it happens in the most positive way, in a lot of I am statements. So and I've actually done this before in more of a point form. Now I do it as a story form, which is even better, even better. But the first time I did it, I wrote, I'm so grateful I'm going on tour with the #1 artist. Boom, left it. All of a sudden got asked to go on tour with the #1 artist. Didn't audition, none of that. Then I was on tour with Justin for 8 years. So it's kind of like, it's a bending the matrix.
Justin Timberlake, just to be exact. Go ahead.
Did I not say
I don't know.
last name?
I'm
I said Justin.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
But just you're not like.
I'm so like, first
Not
name
everybody knows
basis.
it by first
Justin
name
Bra-
basis.
Jay.
Jay.
not like
Hey, Jay. Hope you watch
Justin
this.
Brown, the dude who lives down the street,
I know.
likes to do an acoustic solo every now and then. Not that guy.
Not that one.
Always gets
Not
the
that
guitar at a
guy.
party.
At the party, and you can't put it away. Oh no, Justin's got the guitar. Everyone.
crap.
Time to go. Oh,
Irish goodbye.
Isn't it Christmas time coming up? Gotta go. Buy kids back presents for the kids.
Forgot to vacuum. But yeah, so it was
Oh my gosh.
So
Did I-
I forgot to vacuum.
Did I change the toilet paper roll before I left? I've got to go. I'm so sorry, Justin. I'm so sorry. I'm
Justin Brown.
so Justin Brown. No.
Yeah, so the scripting really helped with that. It helped me bend the reality. So I'm back scripting again. That's where I'm at with the I am statements. So I have a few questions for
For the circle
for that.
about
Cool.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just bring them all
Yeah,
in,
let's do
and
it.
we'll do this. We'll bring in some circulage. Ah, yes, indeed, dear ones, we are here, and we are most delighted to make connection with you here on another magnificent day in your earth plane. All right, dear one, we are most delighted to be of assistance and to help clarify in any way that we can.
Wow, thank you for having me, and thank you for talking with me. I'm
Indeed,
so
dear
excited.
one.
I
Yes.
feel like this is
know, isn't it fun?
so exciting. I actually wanted to talk today about the phrase, the statement, I am. I had a dream recently that was a very, very detailed dream. I'm not going to go into the details, but the answer of this dream, which was just a lot of chaos in the dream, and in the end of this dream, so many things were happening, and I said, I have the answer. And I was like, what's the answer? I know I have the answer. What's the answer? And the answer was, I am the answer. I am. And then all of the walls fell down around me. And I ended up in this, like, you know, those claw machines, like the toy claw machines. And it was like, they said, you've cracked the code. You win a free stylus, a free iWatch and a free stylus. Like, it was like, what? It was that simple. It was that silly that just saying an I am the answer statement made everything change. So I wanted to ask about the I am statement.
Indeed, yes, because the I am is another state of what we would call isness. It just is. So when you are in the I am or in the isness, you are also in the state of knowingness or manifestation. There is no mind. There is no mind creating confusion, doubt, indecision, uncertainty, or even an activation of the programs that feed into confusion, doubt, indecision, uncertainty, unknowingness. We talk about those states being very counterintuitive to creation because they are always indicator of mind, and mind is always generating resistance. And whenever there is resistance, you do have experience, so you can resist yourself into your current experience because that is how reality is generated. But it doesn't often bring the change of where you're seeking to go. So when you say I am, you're really anchoring your energy in a state of certainty, which will innately dissolve those walls, as you saw, you cracked the codes. The walls that are keeping other aspects of your consciousness out will form. When you say I am, you are holding the frequency of no mind, essentially. And through the gateway of no mind, manifestation comes in. The mind is always creating that which separates you from being in union, being in oneness with something.
I guess you're onto something.
Yeah.
We
You got it.
We
Getting the
had
hack.
shared a concept the other day, which was a little bit of a different way of even talking about incarnation. A lot of the times people think of this idea that pre-incarnating, you go through this experience of making decisions and choosing and all of this sort of stuff. And choosing it's similar to being in indecision, which is in a resistant state, because if you're choosing one thing, you're resisting something else. And it's a state of, there's always a state of uncertainty. Does that make sense to you? Ones we're really sort of taking you places here with this.
When you choose, there's a state of uncertainty.
The concept of choice.
Okay.
Right.
The concept of choice always creates this idea that there's something other. And if there's something other, that could mean you have some kind of confusion about it. Whereas incarnation is like a happening. It happens. It is. You are. I am. Do you see that these are all statements that reflect a sort of absolutism of existence in a way?
It's almost like in the Gaia interview that I saw, it was the knowingness instead of is it manifest and knowingness.
Indeed, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we always talk about this idea of there's two states of creation as you experience it, knowingness or manifestation, and knowingness and or manifestation. So what you are physically experiencing is manifestation, and knowingness is the state where you have so much clarity that when you show up at a logical point or place in time and space, it will exist there. So most of you, for example, have knowingness where your bathroom is. You just know it's there. So when you leave whatever room you're in and you go to that logical point or place in time and space, it's going to be there. You have no confusion about it. You have no like, oh, will the bathroom be there or won't it be there? Am I worthy of the bathroom? All of these things where the space, where that psychological mind can start to come in and obfuscate the certainty of knowingness or manifestation. It is, I am, it is.
And would you say that I am statements over time of like viscerally, because I do my scripting and I listen to Hans Zimmer because I feel as though the music, the movie soundtrack music actually helps me to viscerally
feel it.
I feel like that a lot of people talk about scripting and writing things as though they already are.
Indeed.
I just feel maybe it's because I am a creative and music.
Yes, and music
I am
speaks too.
a creative.
Yes, yes.
And maybe music is the way that it actually like unlocks my cells and tells
Well, it
my
is a
cells.
vibrational experience as well.
Yeah.
So when you match, because many people believe that the words are it for manifestation. So people say, oh, don't say anything negative because then you're going to make that negativity. Well, if you're really driven to say something negative, your energy alignment may be already
You're already
there.
Yeah. No matter what you say.
No matter what you say, because you can be saying, well, you look very nice today, and not meaning it at all. Or being, you look magnificent today, and of course the truth is all there in the energy of it. So when you start to do almost a multimedia experience like that, you are combining the words with other sensory inputs, which strengthen reality. Because what is manifestation? Manifestation is what you experience with your physical senses. What do you see? What do you taste? What do you touch? What do you hear? What do you feel with your body?
Yeah.
So when you're writing and then you include music, now you have an intellectual idea. You may have some emotion with that writing, which is also powerful, but you're also starting to bring in some sensory validation as well. It's adding to the fullness of the experience, which is helping to entrain you more vibrationally into the state that for you, that is that music may be associative of. And whatever. So sometimes an I am statement, and we would like to put some clarity in this as well, why it's really powerful, but why sometimes it's not powerful, because many dear ones have sat and written out their intentions and it doesn't become manifest. And then there's a sort of heartbreak of, oh gosh, am I not worthy of this? Or what does that mean? Why did they come? Well, when you write something as powerful as I am, that which is in resistance may arise first, because anything that's in resistance to it is containing the energy you may need to create it. So we want to sort of shortcut that for you right now. We've talked about that idea many times, but you need energy to create. So why not get it from that which is in resistance to what you want to create? So often that shows up first. And this is why we always say, don't believe the illusion until you like it. Many great changes in the collective experience happen with powerful intention for change, and then a lot of resistance arising to that intention. But therein lies the energy you need to move to the next level of your game, the next level of your I am.
So once you take the charge out of that resistance, it gets stored as wisdom, and then you can move closer to being non-resistant.
So energy is energy. Energy is, let's say, the fuel of creation. So you need energy to create. It is the plasticine of creation. It is, you can't make ice blocks without H2O. Right. So you need that resource. It is the resource. And the resource is consciousness, which could, as you say, contain wisdom. It can contain
motivation.
in how you may experience it. Yes, once you give yourself more energy, you're probably going to feel more motivated. When you're resisting something, you're using energy to fight an intention. So this is why we say, dear ones, don't be disheartened when you are really seeking to go for something and a whole lot of funky stuff shows up first, because that is the energy resource that you need. It's pure energy consciousness. And your broader soul is saying, hey, because let's just say you want to become a wonderful singer, which you are. Let's just say you want to go to new heights of your career. So
Tell me everything.
I was going to say, I see the big smile on her face.
Tell
She's
me
like,
everything now. I'm listening.
So, what is bigger? What is bigger?
For me?
Yes, what would be bigger for you?
For me would be having a greater fan base that listen to my song on repeat.
Yes.
Larger streams.
Larger streams. But
yeah.
that's more fan base. So basically you need more people receptive to you.
Correct.
You're putting your creation out into the world, and it can exist as a creative experience beautifully, just as a creative experience, but you want more for it. So if it's not already manifest, it means there's resistance to it. We really want to give you this such a simple but powerful idea, and when you really hear it and get it, it'll make perfect sense. But it isn't what most people think about when they're thinking about manifesting, because so often they're thinking about where they want to go. They're not understanding that if it's not manifest yet, there has to be resistance to it. There has to be. That's just it.
Yeah.
Do you see?
oh yeah, I'm waiting for how we get rid of this resistance.
But many people don't even understand that yet. They're too over here trying to get this thing happening over here. Because once you actually know there's resistance to it, and resistance is energy, you'll no longer be put off by resistance arising when you have a more powerful intention to put something out there. Because you've made the songs, you've created the songs, now you want it to get it out there. So the resistance to the next stage of what you want is actually the energy you need to create the next stage of what you want, to open the pathways.
Wow, that's such a gem.
Yes. And you as a powerful creator get more energy by consuming the energy in resistance. Most people will resist the resistance and get stuck, frozen, locked there, and be, well, these people are silly to not like my music, or they'll go into more logical storylines, and we understand why they make sense. But if you stay stuck in your storylines, you're not going to get to the next level of your game. So it might be like, well, the music industry is too difficult, or it's too corrupt, the system is too difficult, all of that stuff. Now, there may be quote-unquote truth of that on some level. However, if you stay stuck at that level and get defeated in that moment and freeze your matrix at that point, like I am satisfied with that logical explanation about why my thing isn't getting further out there, that's where your matrix freezes. Does that make sense? That's when your reality hardens into that picture. This is why, again, don't believe the illusion until you like it. Don't believe the matrix until you like it. Now, clever dear ones who are watching this show now get the opportunity to understand that resistance is the energy you need for expansion. The quote-unquote music industry being difficult is a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy in this concept of the music industry being difficult. Don't buy in to that as the end of story. Go, oh, great. Wow, look at all this energy and all this resistance. And I'm a powerful creator. I am a powerful creator. I will now pull all of the energy and all the resistance to me, to my music, to my creativity, what's within me that is reflected out there in the externalized projection of my unconscious beliefs about my potentiality here on the planet. I will harvest all of that energy in. I will purify it from that old form through the heart, and I will take that energy and I will expand. And that's when you get your next wave of motivation, energy, because you've pulled in more energy to actually do the next level. Creating the song is one amount of energy to create that song. Reaching more people is a manifestation that lies outside of your singular egoic identity. It is now about the energy of other people too.
Right.
So that's a bigger framework of energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The resistance is now no longer just a personal resistance. It may be a resistance in the collective to whatever frequency is in your music.
Interesting.
If you had
I've thought about this a lot, actually. I've
Yes.
thought about this even just, it's hard to find the words for my vibration sometimes. You do good, Georgia. Over there with the circles. They help you. I don't have someone channeling through. So I feel like sometimes...
Or do you?
I love this. So, do I?
Pure consciousness.
are.
Pure
Wait.
consciousness. You all do. You're
my
all
gosh,
channels
I love
of
this.
pure
Okay, your higher soul is
consciousness.
channeling through you.
Yes, indeed.
I love my higher self. I am my higher self.
Indeed, yes.
So,
I am.
It's even finding the timing, even though like time doesn't exist or time is non-linear, or just like allowing my vibration and the song to be at the perfect divine moment to match the frequency. Sometimes I feel as though
Yes, this
I'm
is your moment
ahead.
of creation.
Yeah.
All right. So when you create a song on a personal level, your gate opened, the frequency came in, and your personal alignment was there to receive it and create the song.
Yeah.
And this is why a lot of times dear ones will receive the whole song at once, or receive a lot of it in a non-linear way. It exists. It was there as a vibrational creation. Something dropped in the personal resistance that it could drop in to the biological system to start being generated as something that is materially manifest. So that was your gateway open. The collective, reaching the collective, could be a very different gateway in the sense that their consciousness, and as now this is where this idea of feeling ahead of the collective comes in. Because for you and many artists, you will look at this throughout history, that many artists have been ahead of the collective, and it is part of the plight of the artist, because if the artist is not recognized and rewarded in the old survival system of money at that time, it can be a hard life for the artist, whilst they are an open gateway for consciousness coming through. Because what they received in that now moment open gateway probably is of a higher frequency of than where consciousness is in the broader sense at that time. But where we want to give you hope about this, especially now, is that energy is moving much faster. So the delay between an artist going through the moment of creation and then the collective being able to receive it is much shorter than it used to be historically, if that makes sense. And even your technologies, which are able now to spread the work of artists far more instantaneously to far more people with far greater ease, also reflect this. Do you see?
This is exciting.
Because before, a composer maybe was under patronage of an emperor, and who listened to the music? Just the people in the court. And it didn't travel a lot further or much faster than that at that time. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
And they struggle because, well, if the emperor liked them and paid them a bit of some gold chalices, then they would be okay. But if they didn't, and they were under the control of the emperor to provide that patronage for their survival.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of context here to help you understand. Now you can reach people all over the world instantaneously, which means there are a lot more people already in closer vibrational match to what you have created in your open gateway than ever before, and you can reach them much faster than ever before, which is why we say to our dear creative friends, it's very powerful for you to just put it out there. Put it out there now. Don't hoard it, even if it feels like you're not getting immediate responses. Just the beginning of you putting your frequencies out into the world may start the chain of effect of breaking down of the resistance to your work, reaching much bigger volumes of energy afterwards. And again, when you look at how these things are distributed now, they are more multidimensional, and people do find it in their own time. The old music system was much more, the song goes out and everybody better like it now or not, because that's it. Because that's how the system put music out. It's going to get played a lot on the radio now, and then it's going to be gone. And again, historically, it has changed all the time. Now people can discover it years away, and the exchange of consciousness is happening just in the same way as that people will watch this long after it is being made. Don't watch your numbers right now, dear ones. When you're creators who are a little bit ahead of the time, one of the worst things you can do is get really worried about how few people are getting it right now. Because the minute you do that, you're allowing your mind to put in more resistance, self-doubt, thinking nobody wants what you have, nobody's ready for it. All of this stuff is going to, it may not freeze your matrix, but it may certainly slow your matrix down. So we would say, move on, create. The more you are your open gateway and the more you just put it out there, the more the gateway is open. The less amount of time you spend in your mind analyzing your career, your business, all this sort of thing, the better. Now, certainly there's going to be choices that you will make along the way. However, what we're saying to you, dear ones, the more you're thinking about it, the more you're actually stopping energy from moving. Because are you a creator?
I am.
Indeed. And the more you're creating, the more the channel is open. Let the world catch up when they're ready. Now, some of the frequencies that you're bringing in an open gateway may have resistance in the matrix to them yet, in the collective, because you're a groundbreaking artists aren't making the same music as before. So there's going to be resistance to it. But the more resistance there is to it, the more energy there actually is for its expansion. So don't believe the illusion until you like it.
Okay, but how do we make money and survive when we're trying to come out with all
with the
this?
question.
We need
Indeed,
The gold question.
This is the gold
we
question.
need the abundance when we're trying to do our passion.
Indeed, yes. And we understand. And this can be really a challenging thing to not become attached, that the passion is the pathway to abundance. Now, see, immediately you're hearing that and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I can do my passion, but to make the abundance, I have to do this horrible thing that I don't like so I can support this. And that is not what we're saying at all. But what we are saying is, if you are focused that way, now you're kind of mixing your energy streams. You are innately abundance. That is your true nature. That's your natural state. It's who you are as consciousness. The more you are in your now moment, the more your gateway is open, which is why wonderful creative activities are really actually magnificent to open the gateway to abundance. And that is why you see some artists are extremely successful in their abundance, because they are living in their now moment open gateway. And once you hit a flipping point and you're doing that, it sort of exponentially grows, because once you're making your creativity and the money's flowing and you're not really worried about either, and it's happening.
Yeah.
So that is why you see in this illusion that just some people get it all and some people are staying in struggle town. Everything you want will arrive in the now moment. Your abundance, your creativity.
So I've actually witnessed this with a few artists that I know didn't have a cent to their name, but were just talented.
Indeed.
And I just watched their incredible ability to be very present. Like, I'm just going to make that happen today.
Indeed,
it's
yes.
happening today. I know it's going to happen. Someone's going to give that to me, and it's going to happen today. And it does.
Indeed,
and it happens
yes.
on a grandiose level,
Yes.
to the point where I see them go from having nothing to getting an incredible accolade within a few months, because they just keep trusting. All right. Okay, well, if that's my last cent, I'll spend it on this because I know something will come in.
Indeed, yes. The open
and that's
gate.
where I'm starting to, as I've started to do this non-resistance thing, because my one of my greatest incentives is I don't want to stress my body. There's no reason to. There's no reason to stress my body with these maybe, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or maybe this will happen, all the fears. I just want to get in the flow state. I'll observe myself worrying about something, and I think, but everything has always worked out up to date. So just keep going, keep going. And then all of a sudden, opportunities out of nowhere.
Indeed, yes. And they're
just
all there.
pop in.
Pop
Even the
yes.
other day, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this, how I'm going to do this. And then within an hour, I got called to do a gig that wasn't even in my
Isn't that cool?
Indeed,
energy
yes.
field. Like, it was in my energy field, but it wasn't in my thoughts.
Indeed,
And
yes.
then also with the irony of just me being an artist that is mainstream artist, I've also been given an opportunity to make children's educational music. It's still music.
Yeah, it's
Indeed,
great.
yes.
But it's now music that I'm using to lift the next generation's consciousness, to
Indeed,
help
yes.
educate them,
Indeed,
to bring
yes.
my frequencies in on a grandiose scale. So,
Indeed,
and
yes.
that is an alley-oop. That one's an easy one because people love kids. People do
Do you
anything
know
for
Miss
kids.
Rachel? Do you know they're like multimillionaires?
Yeah.
They're doing, that, and that's a great abundance thing to bring in more money, even though you're not on stage quite yet. That's another
Exactly.
stream that you didn't even think about. Probably you're like, oh, cool. I still get to do what I love and commune with both in a way, right?
And this is why we say, don't get so caught up on how the abundance is coming in. Because if you say, I'm an artist, then I should only make music through this, make money through this part of my art. Now you're giving abundance a much narrower way to come. And what is abundance too? Most of the time people think it is just money.
Right.
But really you're abundant in many things. When people obsess about the money, they lose the sight of the fact that they have so many resources, and that really what you're really calling for is the freedom and the power to make something happen.
Right.
And that can happen lots of different ways. So we invite that open-mindedness,
Right.
because it isn't always about I need this amount of money to pay this person this amount. And also many people fantasize about a large amount of money as being the thing that's going to solve all of it. But really flow is often many smaller cogs turning to make something happen.
Yeah.
So be open, be receptive, be more receptive than resistant. As soon as you're worrying, dear ones, as soon as you're analyzing and ruminating, notice the state. You are no longer in the now moment. You're in your head. you're thinking about something in the past or in the future, you're out of the now moment. And this is not the place that anything arrives. Nothing arrives in the now moment, dear ones. So nothing arrives out of the now moment. Everything arrives in the now moment. So when you are in the now moment, you're in the most receptive state. So this is why we say creators create, because that's when you're usually the most in your now moment. Put it out there, let it go. People will start to say, oh, wow, I worked so hard and I'm never getting anything back. Now you've gone into a resistant state. You would be creating, if you are a creator, you would be creating if you felt that the resources were responding to you. So we say, go create, because you're the one that leads the energy. Right. You're the one. Money is just an energy that will follow your intention. So if you start getting that resentment, oh, it's not, I'm not going to create until something arrives. And if it's, then you've stopped the flow. You've frozen your matrix.
And Georgia and I were speaking the other day, and she said to me, which was so profound, it was, don't forget in your scripting to talk more about happiness and the feeling.
Yes.
So, because I feel as though everything that we're chasing, quote unquote, which is a terrible way to say it, but everything we're wanting to open up to in our desires is because it's going to give us a feeling.
Yes, of course. So you should always be manifesting on the feelings that you want in that sense.
Yeah. That one is a good one to
everything
me.
that you want, because why would you want, there are plenty of people out there with billions of dollars who aren't very happy. Not that we want to say there's anything wrong with having money, but we're speaking more towards the illusion that you think money is the thing that will guarantee you the states you're actually seeking. So when you are doing your I am thing, you're usually an open channel, which means consciousness is flowing through you with greater ease, which is a natural state of expansion. That feels better than being in the contraction of worry, doubt, uncertainty, indecision. Now, one of the challenges with money is because it speaks very much to the survival consciousness, which is why we are showing up a lot to help you all delete the files around the survival illusion. When you have survival fears, when you're afraid about how you're going to survive, this naturally activates your nervous system that tends to put you in that more anxious, overthinking, worrying state. So this is why we remind you, most of you are not being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger right now. We're fairly sure that anyone who's watching this right now is actually not in life or death danger. And if you are, we say the same thing. Come back into the now moment. Soften your body. Receive everything everything you want to survive will also arrive in the now moment. If you're really freaking out about the future and the past, you're missing that doorway. The Amazon delivery is not coming to a shut door. Your creativity, writer's block, creativity block, abundance, health, well-being, none of those things are being delivered to a shut door. And once you're worrying, the door is closing.
Okay.
That's fantastic
Yes.
advice. So I guess we'd probably have to close off shortly.
We have a little few more moments.
Would that be more of the answer to Mia's question in terms of, so how do we make money? It's more being in the present moment and centering in the feeling that we want in the heart. And give some advice on how to be centered in the heart.
So remember, dear ones, and we will repeat this over and over again because
on every episode,
the most vital message that we could give to you as an individual and to humanity at this time. If there is resistance that is creating suffering for you, It is being generated by the mind. This is why if you're in worry, doubt, confusion, indecision, what should I be doing? You're in your mind. It's naturally creating resistance. To get into a new game, you want to bypass that mind. Bring your attention out of your head. Catch it that you're doing it. I'm worrying. I'm stressed out. The biggest quote unquote problem solver you have on the planet is the heart. Why? Because it generates everything beyond the confines of that illusion. Just pulling your attention out of your mind, focusing in the middle of the chest, and just release some tension in the body. Just focus there. Release some tension in the body. And then start to receive more. Look around. Receive what is already manifest around you. It's one of the fastest ways to turn on the taps of manifestation. Is to receive what is around you. Now, maybe there's something ugly on your wall and you don't like it, still receive it, because once you're resisting it, you're creating tension, you're blocking the flow. Receive, use your senses, listen to these words with the greatest level of receptivity you can find. Receive. Look, if you're watching the podcast, at these dear ones and receive it. It should be easy.
We did our makeup and hair for you. I hope that you're enjoying it.
Sit on what you are sitting. Feel it. Touch the texture and receive it. Because a lot of you want to get somewhere, and this is coming back to the power of the I am, because a lot of you want to learn about manifestation and trying to get to somewhere. So you're naturally resisting.
Ding, ding, ding.
Just fixing our hair. Go ahead.
I was resisting. We were both playing with our hair. What was that?
I don't know.
Because it's very
They're receiving
because
me right now. I just want to make sure I look okay.
Some of this agitation, actually, what's really happening is because we are working to pull you into a much more present state, and the mind is starting to distract you. It's starting to say, oh, maybe my hair doesn't look cute. Maybe I've got to fix that. Maybe
Mine was
as
making
all
my
these
armpit hot.
maybe it's making your armpit hot. You start getting these sensations of discomfort to the now moment. Why? Because your mind wants to keep your reality in the same place that it knows and knows how to navigate. So it starts to create distractions. We call this the shiny toys of the mind. Don't fall for it, dear ones. Receive instead. And you can receive that one of the other powerful teachings we share is to say, all right, I'm going to receive the part of me that was distracting me then. I love and accept the part of me that started fussing with my hair, or I love and accept the part of me that started getting hot and uncomfortable, because the mind knows on some level that if you really start receiving everything that you're calling forward, and your natural activity of life is putting out rockets of desire to the universe. Your mind actually knows if you received everything that you are scripting right now, your life would be very difficult. And your mind is saying, am I ready for that? I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready to accommodate change. This is why we also say to get better at changing. Get more comfortable
Going through
with
thresholds.
risk, going through
there.
thresholds and
Yeah.
understanding things, because then you can be receptive through these powerful gateways. And the more you receive your own beingness and your own creation of self, it will also activate far more powerful receptivity out there into the matrix world that represents your conscious and unconscious understanding of yourself. The world will start to receive what you are creating more as well. Receive yourselves. This is why we teach the love and acceptance. Once you start criticizing yourself, you're no longer receiving yourselves.
Okay, just one more question though, in that what you're saying. So now I'm just thinking about when I talked about wanting more fans or more people
Indeed,
to
yes.
listen. So are my fans a representation of me and the resistance I have to myself?
So the world as a
Does that make
broader
sense?
collective, yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes. So the world as a broader collective is always a representation of your conscious and unconscious programming. So the more you resist yourself, the more the world's going to resist you. However, that programming isn't just your thoughts about your hair today or whatever it is, or even your thoughts about your music or your thoughts about whether you are liked or not liked. It also goes to that biological programming that we're talking a lot about at the moment. And that's why there can be a delay in being received at all levels when there is still resistance to the biology itself and what lies inside. And so the other extremely powerful thing, and this can be really a tricky one for artists and people who are in the public eye. If you're resisting your body, if you're resisting your biology, if you're resisting being embodied, having your consciousness fully embody, you're only partly here to create. So the other thing we encourage our dear ones is to come into a genuine state of acceptance of being in the body, being in embodiment, and bringing your powerful consciousness into embodiment. And that may bring up deeper levels of your unconscious programming that might say, well, I'm not good enough, or it may bring up actual more anxiety and this sort of thing. But that's the work that you keep processing within yourself using the tools that we give you, or just being with it in your own way. Relax into it. And that is helping to purify that collective unconscious belief from your perception of your fan base, because it's your perception of your fan base. The more you receive, so receiving yourself can be including really having that come to me moment. If I come into my body and feel pain or feel sadness or feel things that have been buried inside, or feel bigger themes that are actually about the collective of human consciousness. If I've been out of body because I'm resisting that, then my creation remains a bit out of body with the fan base. They're also resisting it. So come in really this whole concept of receptivity, which is what we call that as well, that radical non-resistance. If no one's listening to my music right now, how does that really make me feel? I feel sad about that. I'm really going to feel that, receive it, and love and accept the part of me that's feeling that. Don't be so, this is where people are like, I want to make it now so they don't have to actually receive some things that are a natural part of the embodiment process, which could include their feelings of discomfort about
Which
themselves.
is long game.
Which is long game, yes.
So long game doing the internal work. I love that. Thank you.
Indeed,
that was
yes,
so
too.
good.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God. Watch
Yes.
this
Circle of
space.
Light.
Watch this space. Thank you so much.
you.
I really
Indeed,
love
dear
that.
Love
ones.
you.
Yes, very good
Yes.
indeed. We adore you also very much until we're meeting in this way or some other way. We love you very much. And now we'll say goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye.
Awesome. Great question.
Good question.
So good.
Did you receive some
Oh
things
my
from that?
gosh.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was like, I'm like, okay. I can do everything and anything. I am.
I like what they said about the here's something, I'm going to say this really quickly because I know we have to kind of wrap it up, but this idea of having this kind of multi-dimensional manifestation experience where you play the music, and then I was like, yeah, and then you could also you could wear the clothes that are, like when you see yourself.
I saw
like if
that
I
vision too.
actually texture myself with that clothes.
Yes.
And oh, well, if I can wear velvet, then I'm sort of already actually wearing.
Literally
that,
visualize velvet. When you were saying, I must have haard your spirit. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was because for me it's music, but it's a sensory thing. Like
But
if
it's
you have that,
sensory,
when someone has a toy that has a little silky
Yeah.
thing on it, it's that makes me feel comfortable. That
Yes, it makes me feel
safe.
calm. And the more you actually started to bring that in, but then I was like, you know what? But in the end, that's just life, and that's what they're talking about, just receiving life itself. If I script this, then what is everything that I could do to actually make this as viscerally feeling like it right now. That is living it in the I am now moment. Like, and not everybody has access to everything, but there's that fake it till you make it thing that actually does work. And I'm sure a lot of your friends are doing that. And a lot of us have beginner's luck in showbiz too.
Beginner's
where
luck
you
has
just go, because you're
so
in
much
that
momentum.
no mind and you're just like going for it. And then, you know, some other things might happen. So bringing in multi-dimensional textures. Yeah.
Love it. And thank you so much, Zenya, for being here. I'm sure you'll see her again on another episode. Where can we find you and your music?
You can find me if you look me up on Spotify, just Zenya, Zenya, or just go to my Instagram, Miss Zenya, or my TikTok, Zenyarita.
Woo, 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 woo. And you can find more of Georgia and the Circle of Light on circleevolution.com.
Yes.
And if you want to come into the studio and interview the Circle of Light and hang out with us,
Be in
click
the
the
hot
link
seat.
below, fill out the form, or go to spreadyourthirdeye.com and click the link to apply. We love you all, and don't forget to subscribe and tag your spiritual bestie.
Woohoo!